I mean, your videos aren't flagged, are they?
No, they're not flagged. All right, we're live. Things might, buffer or whatnot. We're having problems with the internets tonight, so I'm blaming budget or MK Outdoor Journal for all of our technical difficulties as is tradition. So, uh, you know, welcome to Hit or Miss tonight. We've got a couple topics to go over. We got a couple people in here. We might get some stragglers, but until then, we're gonna hang out and hopefully have an interesting time. Other than that, set out of the way. Other than that, let's go through the room and see who we've got. We've got everyone's lovable, hateable Warsaw Patriot.
You only will hate me when I speak the truth.
No, more so when you call me China Strike.
Dude, that's an old dead topic. It's in history. Let it go.
Okay, fine.
I'm not gonna do it anymore.
All right. And then we've got everyone's internet sensation, the lord of the tabletop reviews. We've got Travis P11.
I thought I was like the Lord of the Rings, but I guess Lord of the Tabletop Reviews is a heck of a title. I'm going to put that one on a T-shirt, okay? I'm going to write that one down. So,
what you mean? You mean like what, Gandalf?
Lord of the Tabletop Reviews. There's like a rapier sitting on a table or something,
Yeah, you got to put a rapier, then like maybe a Glock or one of your.
There you go. Maybe a broadsword with like my AR sitting next to it. Lord of the Tabletop Reviews. Exactly. Oh, I like that. I've never been called the Lord before. It feels pretty powerful. I'm not much of a property owner though, so I don't really know what to say.
But you owned the house at one point, so
Yeah, this is true. This is true. Yeah.
So you were a property owner at one point.
Yes, this is true. I mean, I've got a man cave, so that's cool. I've got a Hyundai.
Well, that'll count. We'll count that.
All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much. And just a cheap plug as usual. Check out my podcast, Caliber Corner, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time. Night Strike is always there, and he's always willing for you to, ask him questions and so on. So
if I'm not on the podcast, I'm usually out in the chat, just hanging out. So you can ask me questions in the chat. You can ask me questions when I'm on Travis's show, but be aware that Travis will have to read the chat note, the chat questions.
And the disclaimer: if there's anything you don't like about the show, just go ahead and email it to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com and tell them. Nice Strike sent you, so there you go.
Oh boy, that'll get me in trouble with Yankee.
Dude, he has no idea who we are.
He knows who I am.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been on his show once.
He knows who I am. He had to deal with me for like several days in Gun Rights Policy Conference, so he knows who I am.
Well, there you go. All right, man.
He can go screw himself, dude. The guy's causing enough trouble as it is in the 2A community.
But anyways, I have to get this out of the way first before we go any further.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
He was. Okay? Now that we got that out of the way, we got a couple topics tonight to talk about, including the first one being an international topic, come to think of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, we know that we have defensive gun uses here in the United States, and, most of the states, acknowledge self-defense. Not all of them. And granted, it's got to be in the right context, in the right situation sometimes. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. But in Europe and other parts of the world, that's not entirely, good enough for them. But apparently, in Estonia, that's a country, their Supreme Court ruled in favor of reasonable self-defense. This is news because Europe and the other parts of the world aren't really known for that. They're known for doing They're known for doing the opposite.
You know why they want self-defense, Night Strike?
Why?
Because they're right next on the edge of the border of the Russian border. That's why. They don't want the Russians invading their country, dude. They're on alert 24/7.
I mean, you don't have self-defense in England, do you, Richard?
No.
I mean,
whatever you do has got to be viewed as reasonable force.
And
you're very limited on what you can do.
Also, like I mentioned, Estonia had a dark history during World War II, where there was two types of Estonians. You had the German Estonians that were siding with the Germans, and you had the Soviet Estonians. So they actually would kill each other off during that conflict. It was sad times that they were.
So listen to this. Okay, this is a little old, but we're just getting it here in the United States now. But it said on July 1st, 2021, the Supreme Court of Estonia resolved the case that has been moving through the courts for almost 2 years. On August 1st, 2018, a road worker in Estonia used his legally owned and permitted pistol to defend himself against a drunken attacker. Okay? The first court sentenced him to 6 years in prison. The circuit court, their appeals court, reduced the sentence to a conditional prison sentence of 18 months with 2 years of probation. The facts of the case were not in dispute. The road worker with the pistol and permit was okay. I'm gonna butcher this, but his name was Dmitry Doroskevich. His attacker was a drunken resident of a nearby apartment who punched him, broke his headset, retreated, ignored a warning shot, and attacked Dmitry again.
Dude, here's a question I would ask real quick: is if they're going to issue you a permit and allow you to carry, have they never had a situation before where a person's had to defend themselves with a handgun? It's like they don't even know how to handle the fact that somebody might actually use it in their country. You know,
right. And
my mind, dude.
Remember, this is Estonia. This is not proper Europe, or even the United Kingdom.
This is Eastern Europe.
This is almost Eastern Europe area. Right?
Well, that doesn't matter, though. I mean, is it a pretty developed country now? I mean, or is it?
It's a NATO ally.
I don't know much about it. I mean, a lot of these places have really changed in the last.
It's more developed now than it was probably 20 years ago.
Yes.
Okay, let's put it that way. All right, but listen to this. Okay, the Criminal Law Chamber of the Supreme Court of Estonia heard the case and reversed the decisions of the lower courts from from the news.err.ee. That's probably one of the Estonian news sites. According to the Supreme Court, the courts did not take sufficient account of the course of events in this case. There was a continued attack by the victim. He did not give up the attack even after the warning shot was fired, but instead insulted, threatened, and provoked the accused and waited for just the right moment to attack him again, which he finally did. The victim continued the attack, even though he knew that Doroskevich had a firearm. The chamber noted that the victim suddenly started running towards Doroskevich, his hands in a fist, and the distance between them was very small at the time of the shooting, only about 5 meters. This means that the accused had to react to the attack in just a few seconds. Therefore, he did not have time or opportunity to think about how exactly to defend himself with the weapon. Is 5 meters a decent distance to shoot someone with a pistol? As far as self-defense?
That's like 60 or 70 feet, isn't it? Because I'm an American. I have no idea what the metric system is.
Like usually for what? For us, what we got to be able to shoot up to, 25, 50 yards with our pistols?
Well, I mean, no, I'm talking self-defense. You're probably talking 10 yards, 30 feet.
Right, but when we go take our concealed weapons permits, of course, it's
it's
usually up to like 25, right?
Mine was like 7
meters
meters, I think is what mine was.
Yeah.
How many meters did they say again?
So they were saying 5 meters.
Right, well, 3 meters is 10 feet.
Okay, so it's about 10 and a half.
He's probably about 12 feet away from him.
Right, I mean, that's pretty close. I mean,
that's pretty close. That's pretty close. So, again, I'm just trying to parallel this with what we have to deal with here in the United States, just because, it didn't seem like it was an unreasonable distance to shoot him at.
Yeah. No, that's point blank.
And he didn't
charge him with a knife.
And he didn't have a lot of time to think about, well, how should I shoot him in the leg? Should I shoot him this? Or, he just had the time to say, point, shoot, hope he doesn't get hurt. And that's what the Supreme Court is saying.
He had already done the right thing by being shot and everything else. So, right. Yeah, tough shit,
And they're saying this decision is strikingly similar to the Supreme Court of the United States in Brown versus the United States in 1921. Where a similar situation had happened. The understanding of the Estonian court is much the same as the doctrine in the United States about how fast an attacker can close the distance and inflict serious bodily harm or death on the defender. But again, this is a welcome and reasonable view of the law of self-defense. Okay? if a person is so hampered by requirements for reflection and potential alternate courses of action that they are unable to make a decision to defend themselves in time for the defense to be viable, the law, in essence, nullifies their ability to effectually and legally defend themselves. Okay? The Supreme Court of Estonia recognized these facts about human nature. This case is a victory for the inherent rights of self-defense everywhere. In many countries, the purpose of self-defense has been defined by law as an illegitimate reason to own a firearm, like in Richard's case.
England,
or the United Kingdom. Richard, do you care if it's called England or the United Kingdom?
Well, speaking as a whole country, it's the United Kingdom. I mean, I'm in England, but speaking as a whole country, the handgun ban, like the handgun ban, is in 3 parts of the UK.
And has it made anything better there?
No, it's worse.
See, even he says it's worse.
Yeah. Even the police say it's worse, but then they won't.
Yeah, and then they run away from attackers with knives, on bridges.
Yeah, but even the police have said it's worse. Yeah.
Because the club they got to club somebody with isn't gonna hurt anybody with a giant knife.
No, but you got those narwhal horns you can use. That's pretty cool.
Well, they don't issue those to the police often.
Also, Night Strike, I like to add. I saw a documentary where a guy was a British journalist that was actually interviewing some gang members, and one of them actually pulled out his miniaturized katana out of his pants. I'm like, holy shit, man!
If you I had a girlfriend of mine who played the bagpipes. Those suckers are loud. They ought to arm the police with bagpipes, and when they
what, Scotland?
They're scared. They would scare. No, in England too.
You think they scare, but when most of those attackers are, Muslim extremists, they don't care about music.
They don't.
You play Christian music while they're.
They chop your head off. They chop your head off for playing music.
Yeah, they chop your head off for playing music.
What they're doing.
Apparently, that's what's happening in Afghanistan. So
anyone listen to music or musicians, they're hunting down at the moment.
You play Onward Christian Soldiers on the bagpipes, and that's defense.
There was a folk singer they killed the other day.
Yeah, he only sung Afghanistan folk songs. And apparently, they don't like that.
Traditional Afghanistan. We
don't even go into that. So, where does it say?
Well, fascists don't like traditions of any sort.
There you go.
Except their own, I guess.
The article goes on to say in England, Australia, and Canada, self-defense has been deliberately written out of the law as a legitimate purpose to own a firearm.
It's very difficult what you can do, even without a firearm. It's very difficult what you can do. I know of a case here where a woman, like in the nearest town where I live, a woman was getting attacked by 3 men. A taxi driver jumped out of his taxi, saved the woman, and basically beat up the 3 men because he was pretty good. He wasn't ex-military or whatever, but he knew it. He knew what he was doing. Well, on the same night, a policewoman had been attacked. Well, they were just happened to look through the CCTV camera, trying to find these people that had attacked, these teenagers that had attacked this policewoman. They come across this footage of this taxi driver. So what did they do? Oh, we know who he is because he's a taxi driver. So they turned up at the taxi rank in the daytime, dragged him out of his taxi, and he was down in Bournemouth police station for 3 or 4 days while they're sweating him out. Well, why did you beat up these 3 guys? Well, I've just saved this woman from being raped and killed. But in their view, he was the aggressor. It's very difficult what you can do in self-defense,
And that's why we broke away from your country, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. I don't blame you. Honestly, I don't blame you.
It's backwards.
Quit bringing that up. It's been like 200 years now. Nice.
It's
let that
backwards.
go.
Well, I have to let them know. That every July 1st, every July 4th, happy we broke away from your country day. Happy we kicked your ass.
I've said to you before, I
know you'd rather be American yourself. I understand.
Later on, I find
we just left and came over here and built our own forts. We didn't break away. We just left.
But later on, I mean, like I said to you before, I find the War of 1812 a bit strange in places because I've seen documentaries on it where you had Americans that had gone to Canada to live, Then you've had when they were basically fighting each other. You know, it was like a mini civil war before the actual.
Well, they had better healthcare up in Canada, so we had no choice.
Even in those days, yeah.
Treat you with the health here, you can go up there and get the finest in gauze.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
But when I watched the documentaries about like the fighting that went on around like near Niagara Falls and stuff, where they were going across, like some Americans would go across to Canada and burn some farms down, but they were burning. Basically, they were Americans that had moved to Canada because they wanted to be still part of the UK or whatever. So it's like
they were draft dodging.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. But that's what
in this country we have moms that brawl with each other in the parking lots of Target. So I mean, anything's possible in this country. So,
but that's what makes me laugh when I watch that Vietnam War documentary, the one that's narrated by Peter Coyote, the best documentary on that war, hands down, right? Well, they go, 7,000 draft dodgers from America went to Canada. But at the same time, 20,000 Canadians volunteered for the US Army and other military service. And it's the same here. I didn't realize that 7,000 British soldiers altogether served in Vietnam in one capacity or another.
And here's the funny part. Even though the French officially pulled out of Vietnam, they were still there up until until we pulled out.
Yeah.
They were still there because basically the United States inherited the war from the French.
Yeah.
You know why that we were at war in Vietnam to begin with, right? That's right.
It was to fight off the communists, yes. But originally it was the French fighting off, the French colonists fighting off, the indigenous people.
Actually what happened is when we left Ho Chi Minh and we actually sided with the French over them. That's what actually started the war, because the French were actually making threats saying, if you're going to support the Vietnamese people, we'll side with the Soviet government. Yeah. That's what started the war.
It also didn't help the fact that, the French, I think after, before that or a little after that, the French decided to pull out, after Vietnam, the French decided to pull out of NATO anyways, and they didn't rejoin until in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, because, hey, guess what? One of the French, it was that one of the French prime minister that was really, really aggressive with military forces. I forget his name. You remember his name, Richard?
It was more likely De Gaulle, because he was.
Well, De Gaulle pulled out. De Gaulle was an asshole and pulled out. De
Gaulle was an asshole because we backed him up in World War II. Then he, with the what became the EU and everything, he actually stabbed the UK in the back, and yet we're basically the reason he's still alive, because we gave him a home to live in the UK.
No. Let's not split hairs here. The reason he's still alive is because American forces on D-Day. That's the reason his ass is still alive. Because America jumped in and saved everybody's asses in Europe. Okay? Because if I remember, your United Kingdom was surrounded at one point and getting bombed by the Blitz.
Right, yeah.
If it wasn't for our country, you guys might have lost. And remember, we weren't just fighting.
What is all this nationalism with you lately?
Shush. Not nationalism.
Nice try for president 2024.
It's American history.
You're a white nationalist. Be quiet.
American history, damn it.
Make American history great again.
Yes, exactly.
You're teaching people white stuff, okay?
No, I'm not.
Did you see the bit with Blinken when they were asking him the questions and everything?
Oh my god!
And
the
now
guy was in constant denial. He didn't want to admit the truth.
It's trying to bring the gay people in Afghanistan into it now. Well, under the previous government, they had no rights. And then if you cared anything about them, well, why did you run away?
Yeah, I mean.
And then it's like, we have to. It's all Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. And then they said to him, well, everything else. In the first week of Biden, all he was doing was sign, cancel.
Yes, everything Trump did.
And the only thing you can't do anything about is Afghanistan. Well, why is that? And then they still can't answer the question. And it's got to be bullshit.
If it was me, I would have blamed everything on Biden. Yeah. But eventually, they're probably gonna call Biden up anyway.
Well, if you look at it under Biden, right? Well, the four attacks on the US before 9/11. Like the USS Cole, the two embassies, and the first Trade Center bombing was all under Bill Clinton. But Biden was part of his government. Then under Obama, you had Benghazi. Well, Biden was his vice president.
Yeah.
And now this cock up. It's got to be Trump's fault.
I mean, he's in charge. He's in charge. He said we're not using any of Trump's stuff. We're gonna come up with our own stuff. That's what he said during his campaign.
The World Trade Center was under Bush.
And then he says, "Oh, the whole pullout was totally Trump's fault." I'm like, sorry, buddy, you can't blame Trump when you said you got rid of all of his policies.
No, Tony, I mean the first Trade Center bombing where they put the truck in the car.
Oh, you mean he's talking about the bomb in the parking lot?
That was about 1993 or something. That was under.
That's right. That's right.
Are you sure that was 93?
Yeah, something like 93.
92 or 93.
Yeah, not early 90s. Not it was.
Didn't something happen in the 70s too?
No, not to the Trade Center because they were still building it then.
Okay, I must have been thinking something else. Anyways, but yeah, it's just weird that he says he got rid of all of Trump's policies. He's got his own policies and his own strategies and whatnot that he's going to put in place, during his campaign. And he said that when he became president too, when he was sworn in. And then when he's not done golfing at Camp David, he comes back and says, "Oh yeah, no, it's totally Trump's fault. I'm blaming this all on Trump. It's his fault for the pullout. We're just trying to get our people out. It's not our fault. It's not my fault. It's Trump's plan." And I'm like. I think it ceases to be Trump's plan when he ceased to be the active serving president.
Well, also like to add, he should have pulled out the troops earlier beforehand. Now they're all dead.
Yeah.
Thanks to him.
What are you talking about? The troops should have been the last to leave.
No, should have been last to leave. Yeah.
No, they could have gotten out earlier before they died.
No. That's not how it works when you have American citizens in a country that you're at war with. Okay,
Tony, it could have been avoided though. All right.
No, it could have been avoided, and it should have been. But you don't leave. The military doesn't leave as long as there's American citizens in the country.
Now, blinking is one thing. The worst thing though is, did you hear the shit that's coming out about General Milley?
Who?
He's one of the generals. Daniel says at Night Strike, did you see General Milley sold us out to Big China with his phone calls?
Wait, is that the one that's woke?
Yeah, that's the one that's woke.
Oh
lately.
Gosh.
He was on Trump's though, wasn't he?
Aren't they all woke?
He was on Trump. He was on Trump's side, and apparently he literally sold out. Right 20 days before. Right after the election, told everybody to stop. I think it was like January 6th, told everyone to stop listening to Trump's orders.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
And I'm like, shit. You don't do that. You don't do that to the commander-in-chief. I'm sorry, but you don't do that to the commander-in-chief. Regardless if you agree with what he says or what he does.
You do if you're trying to subvert him.
All he was worried about was keeping his job under Biden, because Biden would have got rid of him if he had come out and said, "Oh no, Trump was right." Biden then would have just relieved him and got someone else. So he just wanted to stay in the Pentagon or whatever.
I would roast that man with a court-martial.
Yeah.
Court-martial him and put him in prison for a year or more.
No, not just the court-martial. The court-martial would include sending him to Fort Leavenworth.
Guantanamo Bay.
No, Guantanamo's too good for him.
No, put him in there with the other terrorists.
How would you send him back to Afghanistan?
Daniel says that 4 days before the election, he told Big China he would give them advance warning for any incoming kinetic strikes over the phone. Oh, so he's committing treason too.
Yeah, that's treason.
That's treason. And guess what? In the United States, treason is still punishable by death.
Yeah, it was in World War II in the UK as well.
It's still punishable. Doesn't happen. It rarely happens in this country. Normally, they just send them to prison for life. But the military. Well, occasionally the military does put people to death.
It wasn't Clinton treasonous. She should be held accountable.
She was too, but apparently, we weren't able to put her in jail because
there's something bogus about this claim, though, about kinetic strikes. Why would we be considering hitting? Why would we be considering starting World War III with China? With
No,
China-
China
the
could literally
Chinese guy
turn us
had
back.
called and said that they were worried that Trump was going to do something on his last couple days in office. Like,
oh, okay, I get it.
and they wanted to know if there was going to be an attack, and the general guy said, "No, we would let you know if there was going to be some kind of retaliation or if there was
Okay,
going to be sort of
that
attack."
didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, they
Yeah.
were freaking out towards the end because they kept thinking he was so erratic that maybe he was
He's not that bad. He's not that bad.
He knew if he had done anything, then there was no chance. Like
There was no chance for any sort of
Trump's
re-election
not done
or
enough to do something like that. That's
and all it was-
propaganda.
Tony,
Yeah.
no, they could theoretically, they could actually take our country back in the Stone Age. China has a capability because you know why? We funded all the money. It goes to the communist government.
No,
through
no.
the military.
Hey, Warsaw, man, they're not going to do that because all of their revenue comes from us buying crap from them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, there's
Guess
also the
where-
fact that Clinton sold them all our nuclear secrets back in the 90s.
But here's the thing, though, Tony. You gotta understand. When we were actually selling and buying shit from them, guess where that money goes to? It doesn't go to their people.
It goes to them.
Exactly. So
It
why
goes
would
to
they
the-
give up the money? Why would they give up the gravy chain?
No, it
Train.
goes straight to their military, dude.
Yeah, it goes straight to the military, but still, it's their government.
You're
Their government, not just their military.
you're reinforcing my claim of why we wouldn't.
Technically,
Why they
they're
wouldn't?
financing their military.
Yeah, but Trump is not an idiot like that. People say he's an idiot. He may say some stupid things, but it's probably it's his thought process.
It's
And
propaganda. It's
hon-
leftist
hon-
propaganda.
Honestly,
Most of that-
you guys are playing into some of the leftist propaganda. Honestly,
Yeah, most of that crap was coming from that relative of his called Mary Trump, and she's just jealous of him because she's basically not worth as much money as the rest of the family. So she started talking a lot of that crap, saying, "Oh, she knew Donald Trump because she was his relative and all this shit." And that's how all that started because like she was on TV over here all the time, right up until he left the White House, saying, "Oh, he's going to push the nuclear button, and you can't trust him, and he's going to, he's going to do something at the last minute to start another war with someone or whatever." She is just full of shit. And when you see a picture of her, she looks like a freaking child killer anyway.
well, speaking of full of shit, you're talking about the entire Democratic Party of the United States.
Right. But no, this Mary Trump is relative.
Oh, I said that out loud. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Yeah, no, nice strike. What are the things that Trump has actually accomplished in the past couple of years? All right, he stopped the conflict with North Korea, which is a good thing.
Which peace. I'm all for making peace with them. We spent too much time worrying about trying to go to war with them. We need a lasting peace with them. Honestly,
And I think we do need a strong ass border security with Mexico because those guys you cannot reason with the Mexican government. They're at this point you can't reason with them.
Yeah.
Then,
Right,
all of this stuff is standard operating procedure with a decent president. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
I don't even know why we have to state it. Right?
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
Listen. If he ran again, I'd vote for him. Honestly.
Yeah.
He did some things I didn't like, but overall, you're not going to. No president that you ever vote for you're going to agree with 100%. Period. You're never going to agree with 100%, right, Tony?
Well, you're going to get your chance
what percentage out of 100 would you give Trump then? 80?
I gave him 75
to win in 2024. 90%.
Well, it depends on how bad the next 3 years are.
What do you mean? What do you mean how bad they are? How can they get? They can't get much worse.
Tony, bite
he's
your
9
tongue
months.
and knock on wood because I know better and you know better too.
Biden won't last 3 more years. 2 more.
Tony.
Yeah, but that's the problem, Tony.
Yeah, the problem is if he doesn't last, are we gonna get Kamala then?
Kamala and Pelosi.
Whatever we get will be a blessing in disguise because people will be so sick of the leftist party that they'll be crying for Trump. They'll be begging for Trump.
That's how they lost last time when Bill Clinton messed up. It's like, and then you're going to have Al Gore. Well, the people just saw that they were complete fools. Yeah.
There's already polls showing we're going to retake Congress in 2022.
Yeah, I don't.
I hope so. I hope
I
so.
don't trust polls very much.
But Now, hold on.
Well,
All
the
right,
reason polls are significant, Richard, is because they're taken by leftists.
we got a couple comments out there that I do actually want to read. So Daniel goes on to say he did it. That General Milley did this supposedly under Pelosi's orders. He said kinetic because we are currently engaged in cyber espionage. Okay, and he goes on to say, y'all are assuming he's going to have a fair shake. They screwed him out of it when he was in charge. Now they've got 4 years of running the show. You think he will have a chance? No, that's a good point.
Well, that's why they're trying to blame him for Afghanistan, so they damage him more.
Patriot in the Dark says, "I can't believe you guys didn't hear. They already are priming AOC for head honcho." Yeah, after that dress the other day.
Oh my god!
No, I don't think so. I don't know if you heard Paige in the Dark. I know you couldn't see the dress, but she wore a white dress that said in red letters, "Tax the rich."
At a $30,000 dinner.
At a $30,000 dinner.
Why are you associating kinetic weapons with electronic warfare? Kinetic weapons are just like big steel bars that are shot out of space or something.
It's not him, the association. It was Pelosi because they were already engaged in cyber warfare and
what's the association between kinetic weapons and cyber warfare? The kinetic weapons are physical objects.
You'll have to ask Pelosi.
They're not like EMP. They're not EMPs or anything.
That's Pelosi for you.
That's Pelosi for you. She doesn't make sense. That's why she bought what, a $10,000 fridge?
Oh, and how about speaking of Pelosi, she actually won't believe actually met in person. The richest person that's actually trying to kill us all.
Oh, Soros?
George F. fucking Soros. Yes.
Yeah, the Nazi. Yeah.
Or he's claimed to be a Nazi at this point.
Well, he doesn't. He says he's not a Nazi. He just worked for them as a child. I'm sorry, but if you worked for the Nazis, you're guilty by association.
Yeah. But this is the problem with them. That you go, oh, you're in the Hitler Youth. Oh, well, it was just like the Boy Scouts. Like fuck it. Was, you know. Like fuck it was. You know.
Charging for war crimes at this point.
I'm sure in German the proper words are jawohl.
Yeah. Yeah, I hate those people when they go, oh, well, the Hitler Youth, it was just like the Boy Scouts. And,
it was not.
No, it murdered people left and right.
Yeah. It was the last line of defense in Germany at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Bloomberg and George Soros, those are the two people I really cannot stand.
Oh, boy. Anyways, moving on. We've actually got other topics to talk about. We got off on a tangent, but that's okay. That's okay. I like getting off a tangent. Okay, so I'm gonna
be dead soon anyways.
I'm gonna skip the Chicago one because I really don't want to talk about Chicago.
The 60
please don't read don't read a 12-page article. Just summarize it for us, please. I'm gonna fall asleep.
It was 60 gang shootings that were going on in Chicago.
Go ahead and fall asleep then. It's okay.
Good Lord.
So everyone knows that there's been a not a resurgence, but there's been more triggers coming out like the rare breed trigger. You know, the one that's got scrutiny from the ATF lately, and they're fighting back, and they're fighting really hard on this. Apparently, there are more than a couple companies making the same damn trigger or similar triggers.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and some of these companies are better funded than rare breed was. So they can fight the ATF even further and better. And I don't think the ATF is prepared for this because it looks like all these triggers, because I watched the video on this, all these triggers stem from a design that one dude designed back in the early 2000s. Like we're talking like 2001 or something. He came up with this and patented this.
Are you talking about binary triggers? I'm
talking about the force reset trigger from Rare Breed. And a bunch of different companies, like Big Daddy Unlimited did the what is this? The WT trigger. I don't know what it stands for. That's
but are they binary triggers? Is that what they are?
No, they're not binaries. They're force reset triggers.
Basically, it's basically kind of you're passing over bump fire, and you're basically going the next level up.
And then there's the Graves V2 ART trigger, and basically they're the same. They're literally the same design, but apparently they've all been all these triggers have been licensed, from a patent that some dude came up with, 10 or 20 years ago. Okay, and here the funny part is that the ATF thought that they were going to be able to take out rare breed really easily, and now they found out that it's not that easy, and now more companies are coming out with similar triggers and flooding the market. So
at this point, they're SOL. They can't control it.
So depending on how many more people come up with their own design or license the design, I mean, at this point, it's kind of like you're trying to keep the cat out of the hat or cat out of the bag. You're trying to keep the cat in the bag, but you can't because guess what? Everybody else is coming out with the same thing. So, I mean, it's a situation where, do you think the ATF is going to just say all this is banned? We're confiscating all this.
Well, of course they are.
Well, they're going to try at least, right?
I don't think they can if they do it by the millions.
I mean,
they can ban a type of weapon, just like they ban a type of...
Yeah, but how many people are going to comply with that crap again?
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the same with the bump stocks. They banned them, but how many got handed in?
Yeah, how many got handed in? Most of them were told... They told people just to destroy them instead. Some people destroyed them.
Yeah. You didn't even have to hand them in, You
just had to destroy it. Throw away.
We trusted you to destroy it.
Here's the thing, though, about the whole bump stock thing. You can do it with a rubber band and on a pistol grip.
Yeah, you can do it, yeah. Uh-oh.
Nitro's talking shit. He's talking shit to all you people. And it's horrible. And I feel sorry for all the people out in the chat. Pony, I feel definitely sorry for you.
We're so used to it, we're kind of desensitized to it.
Yeah, roll call.
What's the word, man?
I will never feel bad for calling out Yankee Marshall. All right.
I'm sure he's upset with you.
I love Yankee. I love Yankee.
So
he's a good little guy.
He's a dick.
No, he's a good little guy. You just have to stroke him well, and then he starts pulling.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's how that works.
Guys, did you hear the latest of what's going on with the government?
What now?
Apparently, the government has scrubbed all Afghan weapon reports from federal websites.
Not surprised.
That's shady shit right there.
That's because they're all our weapons.
Because they're all weapons that belong to the American people. Because our tax dollars paid for it, and they gave it to the Taliban.
We already have a list of what they have. So
here's the thing, though, Night Strike. You know what the crazy thing is about all those weapons? The Marine Corps just got a new M16. It's called the M16A5 now. It has a adjustable stock on it now.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, that's similar to what the C7 over in Canada.
Yep, they basically said, hey, you know what? They see the Canadians have an adjustable M16. Let's just do what we're doing over there.
Yeah, let's just do what they do and put an H2 buffer in it. We call it even, Yeah. Anyways, let's see what there's more down here. Did you hear about the 3D printed Gun Safety Act of 2021?
What now?
Yeah. Apparently, two foam heads, including Ted Deutsch from Florida, have put forth S2319, which makes it unlawful to intentionally publish digital instructions for programming a three-dimensional printer to make a firearm.
Hey, they have no right to do that. You can pick a block of wood.
That's what they told us 8 years ago when we were printing the Liberator.
Yeah, that's what they told me 8 years ago, and they still got it caught up in the courts. And anyways, but the law itself, the law they're trying to push through is a joke without a punchline, and it's clearly it's not intended to actually pass. But again, they're putting it in there just to probe the waters and see if they can get more anti-gun legislation just right up in there in that sweet spot.
They don't realize what country they're in. You know that, like they have some weird fantasy of theirs that they say, "Oh, well, let's just change the system."
It's their country now. Okay.
Well, no, it ain't
Tony,
their country.
It's our country.
It ain't their country.
We the people.
You don't understand. They won the election. It's their country.
It doesn't matter, Tony.
It's their country.
It's our country.
Yeah.
I wish it was ours.
Basically, Page in the Dark, we already talked about this, that Milley told officials not to take orders after the Capitol riot. I already mentioned this. I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about General Milley but he ordered all people underneath him not to take any orders from Trump after the Capitol riot. You know.
Here's the thing, though, Night Strike. I mean, we could debate about what's an insurrection or not, but I think the one in Afghanistan tops over the fucking January 6th.
Exactly. The whole situation in Afghanistan tops that. But again, but the problem is, the Democrats got so scared that they completely went off the rocker.
Well, how about this? If they would just listen to the American people, that could have been avoided.
Well, see, that's the problem. Politicians don't listen to the American people. They just come up with what they think the American people want. They don't actually do their jobs. Our politicians have ceased representing the people. Who are the people? I'm the people. Tony's the people.
I'm the people.
I'm more than one
the people. Travis is probably several people.
You got that right.
But that's the point. The politicians in office, doesn't matter whether it's the Senate or the House, have ceased representing us.
I just think you need to start smoking weed or something before these things, because you're going to always get worked up. We're all real calm, and you just get really worked up.
That strikes right, though, as well. How about this? They've also misrepresented our military. They've misrepresented our Constitution.
Exactly.
They dishonored and disrespected the Constitution. What the idea
they
was.
break their oath of office. The oath of office.
It's a contradiction, Tony.
You just have to calm down, okay? I remember when Obama was elected. I first of all predicted it in 2006, okay, when he did his speech. And I told my wife, I said, look, he's going to be elected. You just got to calm down and, go do your 8 years. It's like joining the military. Do your 8 years and then you're out. Just calm down. It'll be okay.
Is anybody looking at the election in California? Do we know the numbers yet?
We don't know the numbers yet.
Oh, why not? Why don't we know the numbers?
You may not know the numbers.
You may not know. 60, 70% not.
Depends on who does the most cheating.
Yeah, because they're doing more of that online voting. So obviously he's going to stay in.
Yeah, but like the whole premise of the Constitution is like you're supposed to honor those who fought and died for it, and also honor what they fought and died for.
We know this, Warsaw, okay? You're preaching to the choir, all right? There's a lot of preaching to the choir that goes on.
Tony, I got 3 words for you. Glass half full.
I told you, the rules are what binds us. Like the Godfather, guys ever seen Gotti? Where Gotti almost got pinched? He's like, I came here with these 2 zips, and if I told them you would go, you would go. The rules are what binds us. That's what he says. Nobody cares about the rules no more. There is no more rules. Have you guys not noticed this? They're just scraggly pieces of paper that are in glass cases at this point. You're gonna have to do something for yourself. What is that gonna be? Let's go around the room. What is it gonna be for yourself? When everybody, if laws meant something, and laws were determined by the actions of people, and people don't care about laws, and they don't care about their actions at this point. So what does the Constitution mean at this point?
It's a little
Are we going to get that far out? Yeah. Are we going to get that far out of whack? Are we going to actually trust the process? Are we going to actually start getting rid of these old people? No offense, Tony. Are we going to start getting rid of these old people that have been in office?
I'm a good old person.
Years? I mean, come on. I mean, where does it end? Where does it end? Do we have to sit here on every day and cry about the Constitution? We all know about the Constitution.
It's easier to cry than vote, okay?
Yeah. But Tony, you ain't lying. I got kids that are going to vote.
Because we sit and bitch every week. We do this. We sit and bitch every week, and then when it comes to election day, it's the same old 20% go out and vote, and 80% of the people stay home.
This might be different, though, Tony. Look at California. I mean, people are at their limit now, man.
Well, we'll see what happens. If he gets kicked out of office, I'll be impressed. But I just hate. I think he's going to have to get like 10 times the votes just to overcome the cheating. The cheating that's going to go on.
I'll be impressed with all these people that are on social media at all these sporting events talking about F Biden. I want to see these people end up in vote. They need to go vote. If they're going to say the things that they're going to say, they're going to have to put their money where their mouth is. Because you can say one thing and do the exact opposite of it. But if you're going to say this stuff and people are going to put this all recorded all over social media and even during, did you guys see the 9/11 stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, during everything. So if we're gonna have this kind of mentality, it's gonna have to show in the polls, and it's just not gonna be for thoughts and prayers or for just the spur moment that you don't want to get your head kicked in if you say something different. You're gonna have to put your money where your mouth is now. I've watched so many people like Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football was no different. All these people sat in front of the Monday Night Football thing and started yelling at people. And yes, I watched foosball because Aaron Rodgers is such a disappointment. But yeah, I mean, these people are going to have to go out there and vote.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Because it's the same on the other side. I mean, there are people on the other side that have already said, I have to vote for Biden. So, you know, they're coming out. There's people on the other side saying that they're admitting their mistake of voting for Biden in the first place because they all believe the bullshit about the Corona plan and the $2,000 and
the problem is they're just gonna, those people. They said, oh, we messed up. We messed up voting him. But they're going to make the same damn mistake the next time too.
Well, this is it. The next time,
because they're not going to vote for the Republican candidate. They're not going to vote for like the Green Party or the Libertarian candidate or a Constitutional Party. They're just going to continue voting for for the Democrat each and every time.
Yeah, and some of those people just see the writing on the wall, right? When they sit there and see Biden at a press conference going, what do I do next? You know, they see the writing on the wall and they're like, hey, I got to start thinking about my future. That's when they start not aligning themselves anymore with Biden. So some of that, some of that, I wish I didn't vote for Biden. Is just their, positioning, posturing for the next election.
And it's like when those pipeline workers got laid off. That has damaged not just the worker, but his family as well, whether it's wife and kids or whoever he lives with or she lives with. That's damaged families. It's not just a case of like, oh, I got laid off, I'll just go and get another job or whatever. It's done some real damage to people. So that's whatever thousand.
It basically killed 1 million jobs.
Wait. Also, didn't he open up the Russian pipeline?
Yeah, he allowed for the Russian pipeline, but he disallowed for Russian ammo, and he killed our pipeline.
Yeah, well, that's all the bullshit over that ammo ban. I mean, if you really wanted to damage Russia, you would ban all the vodka imports. You would ban all the caviar. You would shut that pipeline down, and that would do them some real damage. Just that pipeline.
It was a political thing. It was all about political and going after us.
It's all about going after firearms. It's all about control.
He saw my videos about how I love AKs, and he decided to ban.
Yeah, because Tony, you've got an AK parts kit you got to build, and he doesn't want you building that kit.
Nope, doesn't want me having my fun. That's it. He's the anti-fun president.
He also doesn't want you to shoot your Mosin.
No, he doesn't want me to shoot. I bought a Mosin, and it looks nice now because I replaced the firing pin in it, the firing pin spring.
But all of those ammo companies, it was only one of the companies that had any links to Putin because it was one of his mates that was running the company. All the others were completely, not linked.
No, they're not linked from Putin or Russia or at all.
So why not just ban the one that's linked to Putin and leave the others alone? But no, it's just a load of bullshit,
It's easier to write a blanket statement,
Yeah,
it takes more work to dial in.
Yeah, but that pipe, just shutting that pipeline down would have done a lot more damage to Russia than anything else, And it's the same with the vodka and the caviar and all that bullshit,
I wonder at what point we realize that the ship is sinking and everyone starts going for the lifeboats, and we realize that there's not enough lifeboats.
Well, you've been using that way too often.
Hashtag Titanic. Hashtag Honda has to have me on his show. Hashtag.
Yeah.
I poop.
I wouldn't say
you can
that.
be on the show if you don't use hashtags.
No, we're not going to say.
I'm almost on Honda's level about conspiracies. I'm almost there. You've almost convinced me because the last 2 shows that you've had, I've actually agreed with you, and that's few and far between stuff.
Yeah, with roll call, that's few and far between. Yeah.
Y'all can run for the lifeboats if you want. I'm just going to grab someone's kid and tell them that I have a child.
No,
I'll be putting on a blue dress myself. So that I can try to get my seat on that lifeboat. You know?
I don't think that'll work for you.
Now we know why not.
Angry's going to take his lovely wife Honda into the boat and then stick that good gem in his pocket so it lives on forever. Just to throw it in the bottom of the ocean.
You know what I ordered today?
What?
Can you stop saying that?
A number 1 Mark III.
Where'd you find that at?
A Lee Enfield.
Royal
Tiger.
You got it from Royal Tiger, the same place I got my SKS.
Cool.
They only have the royalist of tigers.
Yeah, they were going on for what? $3.99.
It was about $3.50.
$3.50, yeah.
That's a $3.03, just like that.
Is it sporterized or is it clutch?
Standard.
It's standard.
It's old and it's been sitting in Ethiopia for 100 years.
So watch out for Ebola.
So the wood's dry rotted.
Lick the stock. Got it.
Hey, nice trick. Like that. As far as the whole ship sinking type thing, I'm actually more worried about the economy collapsing because the inflation now. It's now looking at we're going to be a big iceberg, and you look at the bottom of it. We're in so much debt we can't even get ourselves out of it.
Well, you also have to look at how much fuel prices are going to go up even further.
I lived through the greatest recession in the 70s that we've ever had, and we came out of it.
People keep saying that, but this is even worse, Tony. I mean,
it's not that worse. It's not worse. There's no gas lines.
Dude, it's way worse. It's going to be.
Tony, can I explain how bad it is? Socialist Canada is actually crying right now, even though, yes, they're in debt. They're actually relying on so much of our money. They are even suffering just as bad as we are. That's how bad it is.
Dude, the National Guard in Virginia
point me to some suffering?
So that they can fucking drive the school buses because there's no one to drive the school buses.
Yep.
Well, just point me to some suffering because I don't see anywhere where I'm from.
Canada is literally suffering like us, dude. I mean,
why are you worried about Canada?
We're pulling them in. We're dead, dude. That's how bad it is.
I'm not saying that things are already worse than they were during the 70s, like the height of the 70s recession, right? Because obviously that was bad, right?
I'm just saying our economy is the strongest economy in the world, and it'll be fine. Just stop freaking out about it.
Oh my God, you're such a... Never mind.
Whatever. You got your opinion, I have mine. Warsaw. Just because you're from Poland doesn't mean you have any, better opinion
American,
than anybody else.
Idiot.
I just like saying you're from Poland.
Yeah. All things stolen wind up in Poland. That's Richard knows.
Yeah.
Richard knows.
Look, guys, okay? I'm from the generation, before the internet. The internet has this way of getting into people's heads.
And so was I, all right? I wasn't around the 90s.
And so just don't let all this stuff affect you so much. Just chill out and everything will be fine. Just
chill out like where we got us right now.
What?
Did you know that the price of a pound of hamburger meat is supposed to go up $2 next week?
Yep.
Well, you know what? I've been in the construction industry for 40 years, right? I just went through the worst pricing period that we've had. Building materials, I was paying $50 a sheet for a piece of OSB. Did I shut down my company?
No. A lot of people did.
We all made it through it. We all made it through it, and I'm still building houses, and people are still building houses.
Not everyone made it through, though, is the thing. Like,
most of the lumber companies are all in Canada, dude, and they were shut down because of the fucking COVID pandemic.
Hey, one thing about the hamburger thing, I was talking to my dad about that. He's a retired packing plant employee. A lot of it has to do with there's a shortage of cattle right now. So there's just lack of it, so prices are having to go cover the difference.
Did cattle get COVID too?
No. Just get this in cycles once in a while with cattle, and that could be labor reasons or whatnot, or trucking or whatnot. But it's the beef thing is mainly because of. But I'll tell you, Honda, I was just walking around the grocery store and just seeing prices on other things and then just the blank spaces on the shelves now. I mean, that's got me a little concerned. But you know, I was like, looking at deli meats, it's like $9 a pound for ham. It's like, whoa, when did that happen?
The tuna fish is the same.
Well, think back to like the beginning of like what was it, January, February 2020, when beef prices were so freaking low. Do you remember that? You go to the grocery store, you can get a pound of hamburger meat for like $1.79 because they just had so much of it. Why? Well, it's because they slaughtered a whole bunch of animals because the ranchers were looking at the cost of feed and everything and like the uncertainty of how things were going to go. So they just sold off a bunch of their cattle, a bunch of their steers and stuff to slaughter, which was great if you were trying to buy a hamburger then. But if you're trying to buy a hamburger now, it's not so great. And then what was it? Off the coast of Los Angeles, there's something like 37 giant ships, like those like intercontinental like shipping ships. I don't know what they're called. Waiting in port because they can't get unloaded.
Yeah, container ships.
Yeah, the container ships because they don't.
I like the ballistic ships, though.
They're supposed to send. So how it's supposed to work is they're supposed to put the containers on the shore or whatever, and then they put the empty containers on the ship so that they can go back to China and fill them up and bring back more. Well, they don't have any empty containers because they're all stuck in Chicago right now.
Chicago's 1 month backed up.
Chicago is literally becoming a new Detroit right now at this point.
It was like that before Detroit.
And did you hear another ship beach itself in the Suez Canal?
If you study economics over a long period of time, you'll see it's just like any other wave, right? You've got low periods and high periods, and they always tend to work themselves out. It's just like
but when
looking like an oscilloscope. It's like looking at the price of Bitcoin every other day. It's up and down. It's a natural occurrence.
When have we ever seen it go get this bad, though, Tony?
You can't just have the bubble keep growing and growing and growing, and it's natural. It's laws of economics. The bubble has to burst and start over. The cycle has to start over again.
Well, see, the thing is, though, like they knew this like 2001. They were like, "Oh, this bubble's gonna burst. Hey, let's throw some money at it and like print a bunch of stuff, and we'll just pass it down the line." Okay, 2008, same thing. Oh, let's just throw a bunch of money at it and do some stuff, and it'll be fine. We'll pass it down the line. 2012-ish, we had another little scare. Oh, we'll just continue to grow the national debt, and we'll set the debt limit higher and higher and higher and higher.
All that's politics.
Now to the point where every penny that everyone in America who's not in the top 1% pays into their taxes doesn't even go to pay off the interest on the money that we owe.
It's like
that's
are we going to get into this?
That has never happened in this country.
Are we going to start talking about how poor people pay all the taxes now, and somehow
no, that's not the fucking point. This has never happened in this country. We're at a debt level unprecedented in the United States of America. We're somewhere in the level of Japan in the 90s, dude.
Yeah, and that debt will continue to grow, basically, until something happens. Until the Great Reset.
Like what
the Great Reset happens.
No, what? Oh, you're going to call it
bankruptcy? Oh, yeah, the Great Reset. Don't even.
And you keep talking about the waves, man. Some waves are tsunamis,
All right. Hold up, guys.
But you don't always have control over a tsunami, just like you don't have control over physics. You don't have control. And the reason I mentioned politics is because the effort by our government to try to control the economy is just politics.
We got a super chat. Daniel says it's. I feel like this is all Night Strike's fault, and I'm sorry, Daniel, but I don't think I could screw things up this royally. I'm sorry, but I can't take credit for this one.
It just takes one little pebble in a pond, so you're that pebble.
You cannot fix stupidity with fucking bankruptcy, all right?
No, you can't.
The biggest problem with the level of debt, and it's the same in the UK, it's if interest rates start to rise, the interest on that debt also is more. So if people think, oh yeah, I've got more, I'm getting more on my savings in the bank, but because they just think interest rates that's just what that's for. But no, it's the national debt of a country. You end up paying back more because the interest on that debt, on that 30 trillion at the moment, that interest will go up. So the payments will be even more to get it down. And the problem is nothing. It's the same as in the UK. Nothing's being done to control it, to keep it stable, or to bring it down.
How many people here got checks like COVID? You know, the EIDC checks or whatever, the emergency. You know,
the stimulus.
Yeah, stimulus checks.
We've only had what? How many nights, Drake? 4
2
this past year. We've had 4 or
2 or
5.
3. Yeah,
3. There's been 3. There was $1,200. There was $500, or no, $700 or
That's
something.
right, and we all took them.
There was 212. There was like what? One. There was $1,200.
Okay,
$600, and then there was $1,200.
Yeah, I know how many there were. The point is that we all took them, so everybody contributes to the debt. You just don't like it when it all adds up. You know, Tony, we're all guilty.
Yeah, but Tony, it's not set up that if you didn't want it yourself, you wouldn't be able to return that money, would you? You couldn't phone up the government and say, "Oh, please don't send my."
That's not the point. The point
you know what
is
the debt per taxpayer is?
What? I didn't hear you. What?
How much debt is there per taxpayer in America?
Yeah, it's a few $100,000 each. If you look at
probably more than that.
If you look up,
million, probably like 100 million.
No, it's $228,000 per taxpayer.
Oh, is that all? Yeah, I would have thought it would be more.
If you look up on US debt clock, it tells you on there how much debt is per taxpayer.
So if you made $50,000 a year, you'd have to work for 4.5 years and pay every penny to the federal government to pay your part of that tax.
Yeah, the debt.
Yeah. All right. I think we've run that one into the ground.
During that sentence, Night Strike, that you just said, the national debt went up another $1 million.
Yeah, no kidding. And hey, guess what? After you said that sentence, it went up another $100 million.
Yeah. No, just another $1 million. That's all.
It's going to go another $100 million because they've said that they're going to give Afghanistan $100 million.
Oh yeah,
great. Just what we need. We need terrorists with more money. Good job.
And the UN are trying to fundraiser as well. So
anyway,
everybody's going to have to throw a few dollars in.
Yeah. All right.
That's what makes me laugh with Biden. Oh, it was costing too much money, and we've been there for 20 years, so we've had to pull out, and then you turn around and give them $100 million anyway.
And you left how many billion of equipment out there? Yeah. Don't give us that crap.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go through the room and let's let everyone give their outros and whatnot. We'll get the hell out of here. So, Travis, why don't you go first?
All right, man. Well, hey, check out everybody on the channel. There's a lot of good content out there for the people that were on the panel tonight, and I appreciate the invite. Good discussion. Got a little bit heated, but again, there's a lot of good points that came up tonight. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Yep.
Cool.
Warsaw, any final words of wisdom? No?
Hashtag fuck China.
There you go. There we go. Richard, you got anything interesting to say?
Not really. No, just thanks for the invite. It's just gone 3 o'clock in the morning here, so yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, go get some sleep, dude.
Yeah.
Tony, thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us and giving us your perspective.
Like anybody wants it.
Well, it's good to have contrasting views because we know we get a different perspective, and different perspectives are actually better.
Well, I mean, when you've lived through 2 or 3 recessions, I mean, I professionally worked through all 3 of them.
I haven't lived through it, so your perspective is good.
It's like 2007. You know, people were crying about, in the construction industry, the housing market crashed. Well, we just kept working. We kept going. We kept going because we had to. We had to keep going, and that's what we did.
So, roll call. You jumped in the latter half. You got anything you'd like to let everyone know about?
Yeah, man. I'd like to thank everybody, especially being on Hit or Miss again. This is what 2 in a row. 2 in a row.
2 in a row. Yeah.
And I got my own trials and tribulations going on right now. Roll call opens up his fat mouth and fat things happen. So it
Yeah.
is what it is. But I stand true to my word, and I hope all you guys stand true to your word. I'm a stand up. I'm a stand up dude. I don't have any problems with people, but when I see problems, I call them out.
Right.
I mean, it's no different when we see it in any kind of stage of life, whether it's government, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it's significant others. It doesn't matter. When I call stuff out, I'll call it out, and I have no problem on doing it. I stand corrected on all my stuff. If you want to go check out my stuff on Instagram, on YouTube, TikTok's pretty much dead for me because my video got pulled again today. Yeah. It is what it is. But I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with anybody.
Are we doing rants and raves tomorrow?
Rants and raves. At this point, yes, we are on for rants and raves. We had a storm come through. Guess what happened? Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
You know,
so what time are we doing rants and raves tomorrow night?
9:30, 10ish. Same time, 10-ish. Same bed. Whenever my internet wants to work.
Okay.
You know, I live on the middle of nowhere, man.
I know. I'm just making sure everyone knows about rants and raves on Roll Call 219's channel on YouTube.
I ate a porterhouse steak with some side of some giant noodles and giant shells and cheese, and watch my deer walk in my yard. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And plus, I went to a funeral today. Jimmy Mack out there. Where's Jimmy Mack at? Go look at that video, Jimmy Mack, from the mail call. Mail call was really cool. Go watch out on SwitchPod. SwitchPod is a guy. Cindy was in Minnesota this past week. That's a pretty cool thing. He went there and dropped her off a package, and man, did it have some good stuff in there. We're gonna do some hot sauce videos.
All right, hot sauce.
Hot sauce.
All right,
some
Honda.
Trump hot sauce and some Biden hot sauce. One's gonna be sleepy and one's gonna be fire.
All right, Honda. Any final words of wisdom?
The baby boomers are the iceberg that hit the ship that sunk us.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, baby boomers and the fetus boomers.
You know what? Guess what, Honda? I create my own reality. You can let the government create your reality, but they don't create my reality. I go out every day.
Get a hold of your account.
You can choose to ignore reality, but you cannot ignore consequences of ignoring
every
reality.
Day I get up and
I can talk over you just the same as you can talk over me too, by the way.
Well, you started.
I know it's great. It's fucking awesome when no one can hear anyone.
You know, it's great. It's great. Let's all talk at the same time.
Well, you know, it's
awesome. I love talking over you too. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. All right. With that, we'll see you guys later. Thank you for watching. This was Hit or Miss.
I thought he went.